I've been in the mobility space, or I started off with U.S. immigration over 24 years ago. I literally started doing U.S. immigration 3 weeks before 9/11. So for me, change is part of the role. Like Kristen, it's also part of the reason why I've been engaged in mobility for so long. You include people, there's always going to be different factors, even if you see the same case over and over again. So the reality is it's never the same day twice. And I've embraced it, right? Change is growth. So with that said, also like I'm a history major, so I look at it from a historical background and looking at it from the perspective of, okay, we knew last November that there was going to be a lot of change coming up this year. So I try to preemptively manage that change. I feel very blessed to be working for a company whose tagline is build for change. So everybody's already on board with that mindset. And then working within that mindset, learning what my barriers are. So like what the business is willing to do and how to maneuver within that business model for all of our employees in an equitable way. So remaining agile is, I think, is imperative to remain afloat in this changing time.
You need to have very clear, effective communication, and then everything has to be summarized in an email. So all stakeholders on both the home and host side understand what's going into each phase of the process.
I guess global mobility is like a behind the scene engine that never sleeps, an invisible engine that enables employees to work and live across borders seamlessly, covering immigration, tax, compliance, relocation, moving, and ensuring a smooth and supportive experience for both the employees and their families, but also for the companies, for the businesses.
Global mobility stays relevant by remaining agile and closely connected to business needs. Our role is to help organizations navigate regulatory changes while enabling them to move talent where it's needed most.
So when I think of global mobility, I think of getting the right people in the right places at the right time. And ultimately, global mobility should be used as a talent strategy to attract and retain diverse talent. So while mobility professionals definitely are the gatekeepers and coordinate a lot of the logistics and make sure that we're staying compliant with immigration and tax and things like that, we're also a strategic partner. So we basically advise and counsel and educate businesses and come up with creative solutions to help businesses manage and meet their goals. And we also empower employees. And the mobility program is empowering employees to advance their career. You will find that in a lot of global companies, global mobility opportunities is important for employees as it relates to their career advancement and growth.
Bring in the immigration team at the beginning. As I mentioned earlier, it really incorporates a lot of movement, taxes, relocation, house hunting. But we're talking about bringing in the immigration specialist from the beginning of that conversation. Even if they're going to do a house hunting trip, it's because there could be processes that could happen while you're in country, but it just sets the roadmap. It sets the expectation because everything else is going to be dependent on that immigration process. So I absolutely think that that team should not be an afterthought. They should be brought in from the very beginning. Timelines may shift, but you may be moving a company that doesn't move into a company that doesn't have an actual brick and mortar office, and that country, requires that you have it. So it really is important that from the very beginning you incorporate in the immigration team into those initial conversations.
Global mobility allows for businesses to have their people where they need them at every moment in time, which is why it allows for people to move around. It is a partner to the business. But it's also sometimes a roadblock. And the reason why I'm saying this is because although, yes, we as global mobility professionals enable the business to move the people where they need them, not every time can we move them at the fast pace that they need them to be. We are a roadblock as well because we have to be mindful of obligations. Like every regulation, we need to be always on top of that. So if something changes, we always need to be telling the business. And so not every single time can we move as fast as they want us to be moving. But that being said, we are, I want to say, the gatekeepers of their compliance.
Global mobility is a lot of things, but at the core, it's moving people from one country to the other and helping them grow, whether it's in their careers or as a person experiencing a whole other culture, and growing professionally and personally.
So global mobility immigration is the process of moving people from one country to another with the intention of living there, whether temporarily or permanently. It involves legal steps like visas, work permits, and residency requirements. But at its core, immigration and global mobility are about creating opportunities, people relocating for work, education, family, or a better quality of life.
Global mobility to me refers to the system and policies and people involved in moving employees across borders for work assignments or permanent relocations. It's about ensuring smooth transitions, addressing cultural, logistical, and legal challenges, and supporting individuals and their families during life-changing moves.